Yertle, everybody. It's your boy, G-Man. It's Friday. Oh, excuse me. It's the end of the week. And I'm here to bring the final plus vibes to you guys and gals. So I'm going to jump right into it because it's kind of relevant to what's happening today. And I want to keep the video short, but I got probably a decent amount to say. So I've spoken about emotions and getting emotional and the kind of blockade that has when you are attempting to make progress in your life. What do I mean by that? If you haven't seen the other videos where I've talked about this, basically what I'm saying is that when somebody has emotional reactions, they're usually instantaneous, and what that will create is this standing too close to the elephant effect, to where when you instantaneously react, it's almost like you are standing this close to an elephant and all you can see is gray wrinkles and you have no idea it's an elephant. If somebody took you, put you right next to an elephant, had your eyes closed the entire time and pulled the blindfold off and all you could see is that, and you were not allowed to look up, down, left, right, that's the comparison right there. You would never know it was an elephant. If you can take a moment, gather yourself, step back, and look at the whole entire picture, you'll see the elephant. So basically the analogy here is to say that if you hastily react based off emotions, you're not going to get the whole picture, therefore your reaction is going to be based on falsehoods. You will not have all the information. And if you can rein in your emotions, step back, look at everything about a situation, take your time with it, you'll be able to analyze and discover you're standing in front of an elephant. That's the analogy. What I've been noticing is there are some people, at least specifically that I know, who are set in their ways, very stubborn. The only way you can make progress is to commit to change, commit to adaptation. If you're not committed to that, if you're not going to be able to do that kind of stuff, then that's the first hurdle. Work on that. That's the first thing. Understand that progress means change. In order for you to go somewhere you haven't been, you have to do things you haven't done. Requires change. So if you're not willing to do that, this is a moot point. But if you are, then you need to understand that the next thing you need to understand, is that we all have emotions. We all have emotional reactions to things. What sets the people who are progressing and the people who aren't apart is the ability to rein them in and not let them control you however you control them, right? If you have somebody approaching you aggressively about something you may or may not have done, right? And they're kind of being, aggressive is the best word for it. So they're being aggressive, they're yelling, waving their hands, whatever. You could instantaneously have an emotional reaction to that, right? You could get angry back, start yelling back, right? Or you could try this. You could take a breath internally if it helps, or externally if it helps, and exhale and go, hey, I'm sorry for whatever happened, but let me, because obviously most likely you're not going to be able to hear everything they're saying. They're screaming at you. Let me get you to say that to where because I'm not understanding you. Can you just repeat it a little slower? Like, what did I do? What did I do? And all of a sudden I've diffused their emotions because I didn't respond in aggression. So they're going to approach me a little calmer. They might not be completely calm, but they're going to approach me a little calmer without me telling them to calm down. That's a terrible move. Don't tell somebody what to do. Just ask them politely, could you repeat it? I need you to, convey this a little better to me. Then they repeat it, and then listen to everything they have to say and really decide whether or not you have done or have done part of what they said, a piece, a small fraction, or you've done everything they said, and then have a conversation about it. And what I've done here is I've now stepped back from my emotions, because trust me, in my head, if somebody's coming at me aggressively, in my head, my emotions already triggered to say, no, he did not. He's about to catch a slapping. But don't Don't let your emotions, you know, control you. These are the people, so many, this is going to be a weird comparison, but so many murders are acts of passion, right? Emotional reactions. Those people probably would have never done that had they had better control over their emotional reactions, right? And I'm sure we've all assessed situations where we've kind of validated, I'd kill because of that one. That's one I'd kill for. But would you really? Is anything really worth you losing the rest of your life for? You may answer that. It's okay. Go to the comments and tell me that, because I'm sure there are things. As I said it, I can even think of a few things that I would be willing to just say, yeah, my life is not worth it anymore. Let's do it. But for the most part, it's not, right? And then especially if somebody's just aggressively approaching you, let's say at work or some nonsense, and they're coming at you on the wrong foot, you got two options. You could either rein your emotions in and handle the situation logically, and hey, sometimes they're not going to calm down. That scenario I gave you is not going to always be the thing. If they don't calm down, you can very easily tell them, look, I'm willing to listen to what you have to say. However, I'm not willing to listen to you yell at me, so I am going to step away. If you want to calm down and approach me in a minute or two when you're calmed down, and we can try this again, that's fine. But there's an example of what I would do, right, to handle a situation with more of a logical approach and less of an emotional approach. And, you know, there are so many examples. Honestly, if you guys who have watched to the end of this video are interested in telling me what an example would be of where you would have an initial emotional reaction, maybe I can tell you what I think the logical reaction would be. Name something that you're like, there's no other way but to react emotionally, angrily, sad, in outrage, things like that. Let me know in the comments. Give me a scenario, and let's see if I can give you a logical way to look at it. The best thing you can do is start practicing the ability to step back from your emotional reaction. Rein in your emotions as they're bubbling. It's a boiling pot. You know what I mean? It bubbles over unless you take action, right? And there are a few ways to take action. I don't know if this is really true, so correct me if this is. I don't cook, but the analogy that I want to make here is that when a pot's boiling and it may boil over, I've heard that what you can do is you can put a wooden spoon across the top of the pot and it no longer will boil over. I've also heard add salt, right? Salt or sugar or something like that. The point is that there's a way to keep the pot from boiling over. It doesn't just boil and you say, oh, it's boiling. Can't stop it, it's unstoppable. And a lot of people have this mentality in their head where it's just like, well, they did this and they did that, and I'm angry now, and there's no reason I shouldn't be angry. No reason I shouldn't be angry. There's always a reason you shouldn't be angry. The main one is your own peace, your internal peace. It, like, you getting angry doesn't like affect them. Something happens and then you fester and boil over inside of you. That's your mess. You still got to clean that up. It wasn't there. It's not their mess. You didn't boil over, and now it's their responsibility to clean up your water spills. It's it's outrageous. As you can see, it is something that I am passionate about, because it was something that was a big problem for me, and then I've gotten better at it. I'm not perfect at anything, but I've gotten better at it, and there are so many people around me that are struggling with this just in my personal day-to-day, and I hope that maybe you'll hear this and maybe you'll actually step back and recognize that maybe you do have a problem with this, and maybe it's time to start practicing better mechanisms of response. That's all I got. This ended up being longer than I thought, and I got right into it too. I love you all. This Friday, I'm going to try, and like I said I was going to do for this week, I'm going to try and implement something different for Wednesday. So Monday and Friday might be plus vibes, and then Wednesday might be a different thing. But we'll see. I love you all. Peace out.